What's up, everybody? Dave the Data Dude. Today we are going to be talking about Pandas Explode. We are going to be looking at how you can take a list of options and basically break it down so that it's more digestible and usable for your data. And then we'll go through a couple examples of real-world examples where this might be something that you could actually use in your own code. So let's go ahead and just import Pandas SVD, import our Pokemon CSV that we've been working with from the beginning, and we'll go ahead and just take a look at the top couple rows to make sure everything looks correct. Okay, and it does. So the first thing we're going to do is, if you notice that our data has no list already built into it, so we're going to go ahead and need to create one, and we're going to use something that we've used in the past of a split to make a list within our data frame. So we're just going to make a list that's going to be called df, and we're going to call that column split, and we're going to call it split column, right? We're going to set that to equal to df.name .string, because we have to reference the string, make it a reference as a string, and then we're going to just say split, and that should make a new column that is going to have a now list of data for us. So you can see right here Venusaur, Megasaur, because it's got a split of the default of blank. So it's made a 2-item list of Venusaur Mega and Venusaur. And you can see we've got a couple other things down here as well. So the way that Explode will work is it will take this list and for however many items are in it, make another row of the exact same data. So when we do this, we should see another row of this, one with Venusaur Mega and one with just Venusaur. So let's do .explode. Right, that's it. Explode is just the function, and then the column that you want to do it on, split column, because that's our list column, right? So we can see it did exactly what we were expecting. Venusaur Megasaur now has a row of Venusaur Mega and a row of just Venusaur. Now, in our data, obviously that's not something that's super useful. It's just kind of a thing that you can do. But we're going to take a look of a real-world example about how this is something that we can actually use and that we can actually make a report on. So we're going to just delete that, and we're going to reference back to our earlier classes on how we can make a data frame out of just random data that we wanted for testing. And this is an example of when you would just want to make some example data for testing. So we're going to do data frame, and we're going to do just testing. Right, so that we know exactly what this is. It's it's a testing data frame. pd.data frame, right? Open parentheses, close parentheses, brackets. Then we're going to say what is the name of our column, and we're going to say item category, right? And we're going to say, we're going to say food. And then we're going to say electronics, right? So that's going to make a column that's just food and electronics. Then we're going to actually put some inventory, right? So we're going to say, we're going to make a double list in here, so that we know that the first row is going to have a list, and then our second row will also have a list. So we're just going to put in here 1 can of beans. Then we're going to say 2 bags of rice, and then maybe, 3 boxes of, Fruit Loops. My kids just bought Fruit Loops today, made me buy Fruit Loops today, so that's on my mind. All right, and then our next column will be a list of another group of things, and then this one it can just be for electronic stuff. 1 monitor, 2 keyboards, and it doesn't really matter. 100 textbooks. So let's see what that's going to give us. Whoops. So this is df testing. So you can see here we've got our food category, and in that we've got a list of things, and our electronics we got a whole nother list of things. So this is where we might actually be able to use something like this, because we could just say .explode inventory. And we can see, okay, so food, we've got 1 can of beans. Food, we've got 2 bags of rice. Food, we got 3 boxes of Fruit Loops. Now, these might not necessarily be something that you would think would be put together, but if you're trying to pull data down from who knows where, and it comes in as a JSON or it comes in all as just a store-wide inventory, this is an example of something that might actually be data that you will be dealing with if you ever go with data analytics or as a data engineer, maybe a data scientist. You're going to have to parse through some of this data and figure out what exactly it is that you needed. Now, this is a cool example of, we've got our data broken down into food category, and then you see we have 1 can of beans, 1 can of rice, and we can take this another step further, and we can just say df testing equals, well, let's do df food, because we're going to be focusing on the food category. So df food equals the df testing explode, and we're going to say df food equals, df food lock df item category equals food, right? Oops, we did something wrong here. Did I spell something wrong maybe? No. Oh, I don't think I had it as, I think I was referencing the wrong data frame. So my apologies for any confusion. But here you can see that we've got only the food from the df food data frame. Now, you can make it where you do it on multiple lines like this. There's certainly nothing wrong with that. If you're dealing with more data, you might start running into some performance issues and things like that. You do have the option of doing a couple things. You can do, like right here, you can just say, so we're going to look at, just without doing anything to it, this is our data frame test. And we see that we got food and electronics still together. You can say item category dot equals food, right? And you get a list of true, false, true, false, true, false. And if you remember from our earlier videos dealing with location and ILOC and things like that, we can actually use that list to find only the data that we are wanting. So we could go back here and say df food equals df dot lock df dot explode inventory, right? Inventory. And we need to make sure that it's referencing the right thing. So we're going to come back over here and say inventory is capital I. And then df is not df, it's df testing. So what this is going to do is it's going to go and do the following. It is going to take the df testing, which is right here. It is going to explode the inventory column, which saw that we broke down our food and our electronics. Then it is going to say of that which is true. And in there, it's going to say, where does the exploded inventory equal food in the item category? And there you go. You can see that you now have a list of only food from your exploded data frame that originally had a combination of both food and electronics. Well, now it's acting weird because it's not exploded. So explode inventory. So now you can see that you've got a list of only the food that comes back from your DF testing data frame. So I know that this was a lot to cover. I really want you to take a minute to work through this, see if you can make it where it only equals electronics, see if you can make it where it's only, the inventory is only 2 bags of rice. Play around with the data, work with it a little bit. Let us know if you have any questions. Like and subscribe. Put in the comments if there's anything that you'd like to see or if there's anything that you'd like us to expound upon so that we can keep bringing you quality data and videos that you enjoy. Thank you very much.